morning and welcome to the 4th episode of the Yarn Waffle podcast. My name is Liz Ward and I'm a crochet designer and general craftaholic. I live in York in the UK with my 2 cats. This is Cassie, who generally just cleans herself during these episodes in the corner, and Cal is running about in the room as well. Hopefully we won't get any fights today. They've been really good this week. And I'm recording a week early because it is Yarndale at the weekend, and so next week's episode might be a little chocker with lots of Yarndale fun. And I have a finished object and another finished object, and so I thought, let's record an episode. And so here I am. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in with what I'm wearing because I have finished my Flax Light. This is a pattern by Tinker Knits. It is knit in 4-ply fingering weight yarn. I have used the Malabrigo sock yarn, which is a 75-25 superwash, I think, off the top of my head. I do have a label somewhere, but no. Yeah, the colourway is called Piedras. I'll put it in the doobly-doo. But yeah, it is a lovely mix of autumnal colours. I knit it using the helical method because the colourways in the skeins were very different. Some were a lot more purpley, some were a lot more browns and whatnot. So of the 4 skeins I got, this took 4 full skeins. I think I have about 40 grams left over, that's all. But yeah, of the 4 skeins, they were all very different, and so I had to use the helical method to avoid sort of strobing and striping. I think there's just a bit here where it just striped and strobed a bit, and it's a very variegated yarn, but the colours in it are absolutely beautiful. The pattern has this garter ridge detail. It fits lovely. The sleeves are a little long if anything, but I do tend to roll up, and I've managed to do a lovely stretchy bind off. I don't know whose method I used. It's one I've been using for a while. It's where you knit the two stitches and then you knit them together through the back, so you're twisting the stitch as you're knitting them together and binding off that way, and it does give you a really lovely stretchy bind off. It's really fab. And yeah, I'll stand up and give you a bit of a better look so you can see the yarn colour. It's just all these lovely autumnal colours. Give it a wiggle, and yeah, hem it goes. It's fitting me. Can I show you? Not really. It's not 100% covering the bum, but just quite a nice level boob shot. There you go. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. I was so glad to get it finished. I did get stuck on Sleeve Island for a bit, but I think part of that was my fault and my inability to find the right cable length. The second sleeve went an awful lot quicker. There does seem to be a slight colour variation between the sleeves. I don't know if that's coming across on screen. Oh, it's so snuggly. But it's such a variegated wool, I don't think that matters at all. I don't know why this bit just seems to... It's fine, I love it, it's fine, I love it. This took a bit of a time to knit. It is a 4-ply fingering weight pattern. There's an awful lot of stocking it in the round, but I happen to really enjoy that. It's knit from the top down, and it's raglan style, so you knit then separate for the sleeves and then work the body and then work the sleeves after. If I knit this again, I would probably knit the sleeves before knitting the body, just because I find it a bit cumbersome to knit on the sleeves when you're having to twizzle around all that weight of the body, you know, all that knitted fabric, so you're having to twizzle it around all the time. I have found a way of just switching the needles back and forth, so I'm untwisting it and I don't have to keep I'll just say twist a million times now. Yeah, so I don't have to keep moving around the fabric of the body by twisting, but I generally just forget and it ends up twisted anyway, and so yeah. So yeah, I would definitely knit the sleeves first, and then you don't necessarily have that problem because you can always then sort of tie them together and it's not as heavy when you're knitting the body. And yeah, that was just what I would do if I was going to do this again. I would knit the sleeves before I knit the body, and I probably would knit this pattern again. I think I definitely would knit this pattern again. It's I I don't know if I have anything more to say about it. I absolutely love it. It's a very, very wearable piece. It's not a massively in-your-face hand-knit jumper. It's just beautiful yarn, beautiful colours, beautiful autumnal colours, and it'll go with a load of things. It's a good layering piece. It's a good basic. It's going to be a staple in my wardrobe, and it's just going to get absolutely loads of wear, and I absolutely love it. Did I mention I like it? I love it. So yeah, Black Light by Tin Can Knits, in the Peardress colourway in Malabrigo Sock, and I got that yarn when it was on sale, and it was a treat for when I moved house. So this is a very special jumper to me. It's my new house move jumper. Maybe not. So yes, I have a finished jumper. I have a finished sweater. The other sweater that I'm working on, my Ravelry, I haven't touched this week, and because I've cast off a sweater, officially I'm allowed to cast on another one, or another 3, maybe. No, not another 3. I do have another finished object this week, and it is socks, and there's going to be an awful lot of sock talk this week. You're right, Cassie. Yeah, I have finished my Regia Perfect socks. I showed the one of these was done, and the second one was done up to the heel turn last episode, and now they are finished. They are quite big. They are quite big even on the blockers. I have had a habit recently of knitting socks too short for my feet, so I wanted to make sure these would absolutely fit, and I may have knit them a little bit long, but I haven't actually tried these on now. Yeah, they are still a little bit damp because I blocked them, because this wool is on the rougher side. It has softened in the blocking. I left it to soak. It smells lovely. Sorry. Oh, it smells lovely. Yeah, I left it to soak in some mildly soapy water, and then rinsed and towel dried and left on the blockers. It hasn't really, I mean, you can see the line from the magic loop that hasn't really gone from blocking it out, but that'll go with wear. Yeah, so I'm happy with how they've turned out. I love the colours of these socks. The Regia Perfect is a ball of yarn. I'm sorry if the camera's shaking. That is Cassie, who's just giving it a little bit of love. Sorry. It's actually stuck down and she still managed to knock it over. Are we there? We're back in the right position. Recording with cats is not a good idea, and yet I do it. Yeah, so no, she's back up again. I'll pause for a minute. Okay, I'm back. Managed to get away from the camera. That was fun. Yeah, she's now got her little toy, which is a little mouse called Mikey. Yes, I named it. This is Mikey. He's a little catnip toy. He's made out of like Hessian, and he's one of my cat's favourites. Yeah, she loves Mikey, so she should happily play with Mikey for a while and leave the camera in peace. And I was talking about the Regia Perfect socks. I can't remember the colourway number for this, but it is a colourway that's still available, and fairly, I mean, if you go online and look at Regia Perfect, there's only sort of one in this sort of pastel colour, so you'll find this if you want to. It's very simple. Yeah, it's a ball of yarn that is dyed so that you get a matching pair of socks. You have a bright contrast colour that starts you off, and you cut that off, and then you cast on from that point, and you knit both socks exactly the same, and you end up with a completely matching pair. And that's lovely. I have done just my standard vanilla sock recipe. It's 64 stitches on 2.25 needles, and I knit it in the magic loop method. I use a short row heel turn and a round toe, and I haven't, it just ends in a little spot. Can you see that? I don't kitchen any of the ends. I just sort of gather it together like you would do a top of a hat, and that has been my choice. If you watched last week's episode where I had a little rant about the fact that I can't really do Kitchener stitch because I haven't really attempted it, and I've therefore found ways in my pattern to avoid doing it, I should never make sweeping statements is what it is, because after saying that, I picked up a pattern for a new hat by Woolly Wormhead, who does some amazing hat designs, and she was having a celebration where she was offering a free pattern to all her followers. So I took her up on that because that was such a lovely thing to do, and I got one of her patterns, and I definitely need more hats in my life, so I was like, I am going to cast this on straight away. And I had a quick read through of the pattern, and it is knit rather from brim to top, it is knit side to side, and you start with a provisional cast on and you Kitchener together at the end. And I was like, I'm going to have to learn how to do Kitchener. So I have done a bit of Kitchener, but yeah, I'll show you that in a bit. So yeah, this is my other finished object. Cassie is back behind the camera. Cassie, come play with Mikey. Where is Mikey? Where's Mikey? Oh, there. Here you go. Play with Mikey. Yeah, so these are my two finished objects for the week. I have a finished sweater and a finished pair of socks. And things I have been working on this week, it's a lot of socks. It's a lot of socks this week. There are reasons for that, I will explain, but I will start first off with the ones you've seen before. And so this is the first sock. I haven't started the second sock because I haven't finished this one yet. And this is a vanilla sock again, in exactly the same way as I did before, on 2.25 needles. These are Knit Pros. And this is a micro striping yarn by Gamer Crafting, and I got this in a mystery box, I think just over a year ago. And last episode this was just down to the heel turn. It does have a little stitch marker in, which I think is just a little tiny button. Yeah, it's just a little button. And I decided to try a different heel on this, and it is just a short row heel, like I would normally do, but instead of doing knits and purls, I did it all in garter. It might be better shown with the old hand in. So, can you see? It's really stretchy, and I really like that about it. So it was a bit of an experiment because this is not a pair of socks I'm massively in love with, so I feel like I can just play around with it a bit. Yeah, I like it though. It was definitely fun to try. So I'm down to doing the toe decreases on this one, and I'm also considering doing those in a slightly different way. I thought it might be quite fun to have a toe that was in garter, just to match the heel, until I realised that I'm working in the round and that would mean I do have to do lots of knits and purls, but don't know. I'll have to think about that one. It's not, there's not a rush to get this sock done. It's not for anyone, it's just for fun. And I always tend to have a lot of socks on the needles because they are generally my pick up and go knitting. If I am taking knitting anywhere, if I have, you know, just the emergency knitting you need in day-to-day life, I will always have a pair of socks that are being knit on me, with me, by me. And the other one in the current, this bag, by the way, I do have some project bags which I use, but these are ones that I made, and I make project bags from time to time. And so the ones, I don't really talk about them because I made them and I don't make them very often, but they are useful. I used to say that I could have as many whips as I have project bags, and I have 4 project bags, so I'm breaking that rule. Often breaking that rule, and that's why there's usually more than one pair of socks in each bag, because yeah, so this is the Opal in the Sport range. I have helpfully wrapped yarn around the label so you can't really see it. There you go. And this was a new cast on the last episode, and I have knit it down to the heel turn. And Cassie's going back behind the camera again. Bit of a wobble there, but we should be okay. Yeah, love the way this is knitting it up. I decided to just do it as a vanilla sock, nice and fun, nice and plain. Not very exciting, just fun on the go knitting. So those two live in my little whale bag. And while we're on socks, we'll stay on with socks. And last episode I showed my rye socks, which are Christmas socks, and at the end of that podcast, when I finished filming and while I was editing, I ripped those out because they weren't right for this yarn, and this yarn is a Christmas yarn, so I wanted to... I am knitting Christmas socks for a Christmas box of socks. I don't have a lot of Christmas yarn. These were knit too short, and I couldn't afford to live with the fact that they were short and give them away to someone. I decided to rip them out and knit them in a different pattern and make sure I knit them the right length, because I'd also messed up the heel and it was a load of things. I can't remember who this yarn is by. I got it in a Christmas Eve box last Christmas, and it is a DK weight yarn, and I think it was called something in the I ripped out my rye socks and I cast back on, and I cast on in the Choose Your House pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and this was sort of it was a free pattern that you got when you signed up for the Swish and Flick collective, and before any of the patterns of the collective came out, you got this as a free pattern. And it's a DK weight sock pattern, and it's the way she had done it. It was for because it's sort of a Hogwarts Harry Potter themed collection, and she'd done them all in the different house colours. But Kay is very good at bringing out sock patterns with interesting but simple pattern repeats. And so I thought it would work just as a plain sock, and it does. It absolutely loves it. I mean, can I just show you this part here, where the sort of micro striping in the yarn has created these beautiful little zigzaggy bits. And yeah, it's strobing like mad, and it's not strobing on the foot because I didn't have enough stitches on the foot. I decreased slightly too much because this is a heel flap and gusset. I followed Kay's pattern exactly with this, so I did the heel flap and gusset. Hello darling. My cat blends with my jumper. It's like you can't see Cassie. She's hidden in the jumper. You say hi, Cassie. No. Come on, go back to Mikey. Yeah, so I did a heel flap and gusset, and I'm really pleased with it. Kay has really good instructions on her pattern, and there is no holes there. Look at that. I'm so pleased with that. And what I was saying before about Kitchener stitch, I got down to the end of the toe on this sock. I don't know why I'm not putting this on blockers. I'm just wearing socks on my hands today. That's what's happening here today. And there were 8 stitches left, and when I do my toe, I just normally gather those together and sew them in, and Kay had said to Kitchener them, and as it was only 8 stitches, I thought, well, I've got to learn this at some point, and it's only 8 stitches. And yeah, I put on a YouTube tutorial for Kitchener stitch. I just put in Kitchener stitch into YouTube, and it was the first one that came up, and it was very good, and I followed it for all of my 8 stitches, and there you go. I Kitchenered the end. Can you just take it in? Take in all those 4 stitches that I Kitchenered, 8 stitches, sorry, that I Kitchenered together. So I did the Kitchener stitch 4 times, and just enjoy that. I'm going to leave it up there. I want you to take it in. I did Kitchener stitch. Yes, I did. After I moaned about it so much last week, I did Kitchener stitch. There you go. There you go. 8 stitches, Kitchener together, 4 Kitchener stitches. That's what it is. I am the king, the queen of Kitchener. I can master it. I've done it 4 times. Down, done, sorted. These words will come to... I will come to regret these words. I've got a whole hat to Kitchener together. Not cast on yet, by the way. Sorry about the wobble again. Cassie's back in the director mode. Collar, have you noticed? Yes. Because she's going to be going outside soon. We're very excited. Cassie's very excited about it. Unfortunately, Cal, who destroyed her last collar, also is wearing the same colour collar. So if you have trouble telling my cats apart, it's going to be even more of a nightmare now because they're both wearing red collars. if anybody knows of anybody who sells these sort of plasticized rubber collars in more fun colours, because Cal looks fab in her neon green collar, and I just find the red collars just a little bit boring, and I just want some fun neons, especially if they, you know, have that sort of reflective ability, because I mean, I don't let my cats go out on a night, well, good girl darling, but it's nice to have that reflective ability, although where they go out there aren't any cars. It's perfectly safe. I'm happy for them to go out. Okay, so what was the Choose Your House socks by Kay Jones, and I've knit the first one and I have cast on the second one, but it's not worth talking about that. It's just a cast on, but once you've cast on, then you're away, aren't you? So yeah, and this is living in a project bag that is my was a Christmas present from my mum. She got it from an Etsy shop and I don't know which one. If I can find it, I will put it in the description. And I absolutely love this project bag, and it always keeps my Christmas socks in because it has a little, can we see, it's got a little stitch marker which is a skein of yarn, and one that is a Christmas tree, which I am failing to show. Hang on, if I do it this way around it might work. Talk amongst yourselves. There you go. A little Christmas tree. So yeah, so I'm now going to shamelessly talk more about Christmas socks because it is autumn and it's all happening, isn't it? It's that last week of September when everyone has a lovely moan about the fact that the shops are getting their Christmas displays up. As someone who's worked in retail, I just enjoy the fact that I hear it gets earlier every year. It gets earlier every year. It doesn't. Honestly, it doesn't. It's the same time every year. We put our displays out the two last weeks in September, and it has been that way for the past 10 years, but it gets earlier every year. Love Christmas or hate Christmas, or if you don't celebrate it, it's fine. I have gone through it all. I have loved it, I have hated it, and I have not celebrated it. And this year I will be hopefully hosting at least part of my family in my house, which will be really nice. And so I am going to be a big Christmas fairy this year and bring all the sparkly joy and happiness. And with that I am working on my Christmas box of socks, which I briefly mentioned before. And if you watch Amy Florence of Stranded Dyeworks podcast, she knit 25 pairs of Christmas socks and kept them in a Christmas box. And last Christmas she showed them all off, and I know she's making some substitutions this year, so she's still continuing to knit Christmas socks. And I thought this was a marvellous idea, and thought I'm on board with that. If I knit a pair of Christmas socks a month, I will have 12 in my first year. And this is number 3. This is number 4. So this I cast on last night. It is a crazy Zauber ball, and technically probably not a Christmas colour, but I thought it's near enough. Just let Cassie get past the camera. And so yeah, I cast this on last night, and I have just knit the cuff and a little bit of the leg of the sock. It is just again going to be a plain vanilla sock. Sorry about the banging, that's Cassie. There's nothing I can do. Well, I could shut them out, but that's not happening. My cats live in this house, and they get upset if I shut them out. So yeah, so this is number 4. So I am behind schedule quite a lot, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my little box of Christmas socks. Sorry if the camera is wobbling again, it's just going to be one of those days. So this is my little box of Christmas socks. It's just little. yeah, so this is a box from HomeSense, which is sort of a department shop in the UK. My sister works at the Leeds store and she got me this for Christmas. When my mum said I wanted a Christmas box for Christmas, I think she thought I was a bit bonkers, but she got me one anyway because she's lovely. And yeah, she got me this huge Christmas box. When it's full of all the socks, this is going to be amazing. But I will show you what socks are in here at the moment. And I also do keep all my Christmas yarn in here because I don't have a lot of Christmas yarn. I'll show Christmas yarn first because yarn is lovely. It doesn't look very Christmassy at first sight, but it is called Cringe Christmas, so therefore officially a Christmas colourway and can be made into a pair of Christmas socks. Yeah, I love it. The other one I have in here is a Christmas colourway I dyed up. I don't dye at the moment, but my yarn dyeing brand is called Liz's Hallway, and that is because in my old house I had a tiny I had a tiny little hallway to get into my house. My old house was really, really small. I didn't have a working studio or anything like that there. And it was... Why am I trying to think of measurements? This never goes well. Why am I doing it? Yes. So it had a tiny, tiny hallway. You would go in the front door and then there would be a door to the living room, and it was... A human could turn around in there, but if you had 2 bags of shopping you had to go in sideways and struggle. And that was where I stored all my dyeing equipment and yarn to dye, and that's why it became known as Liz's Hallway. And yeah, so this is my Christmas Rose colourway, and it is one that I saved for myself because it's Christmas yarn and it's in the Christmas box. I also have 2 minis. It says these are DK, but they feel quite chunky, and they are just little minis, and these were actually a gift, and they were given away at a Christmas fair in York that I didn't go to, but somebody did, and they didn't particularly want wool because they don't use it, so they gave it to me. And it's actually beehive yarns, and it's Christmas wishes, little Christmas wishes. I have a feeling that other DK might be beehive yarns, but I might check that. If I find out, I'll put it on the screen. If not, I'll mention it when I found out in the future on another episode. Okay, the other and last skein of Christmas yarn, I don't have a lot of Christmas yarn, is last year's West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas colourway, which was the Fairy Lights colourway. I haven't knit this up yet because it doesn't really inspire me. I've seen a lot of these, how this colourway turns out. A lot of people knit these socks, and I'm just not a massive lover of it. I've sort of been thinking in my head, well, I could always just sort of use this and stripe it more with a cream yarn or something like that. I don't like the idea of having a pair of Christmas socks that I'm not going to absolutely love, because I want this to be my box of excitement that I play with every Christmas, and not feeling this. I've heard rumours that the new West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas colourway is Robin this year, and I know you can still get the Hollyberry colourway from a couple of years ago, which is really nice actually. Yeah, if anybody wants to swap this for a different Christmas colourway, drop me a message. I'm not saying it has to be West Yorkshire Spinners. If you have any fun Christmas colourways, or like a Christmas colourway in a yarn that you look at and you go, that's not Christmassy, but if it's called a Christmas colourway, I'm in. Yeah, I'll swap you if you want the Fairy Lights, or if you just want to wing me some Christmas yarn, because I am really short of it, and oh yeah, did I not tell you? I've decided I'm going to catch up with my goal of 12 socks this year, 1 a month, and that means I'm gonna knit 9 pairs of Christmas socks by December. 2 months to knit 9 pairs of socks. Seems a reasonable goal. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. if it does, it'll be fun. Oh, slightly manic or... Oh, hello Cassie. Okay, so yeah, while I'm delving in the box, sorry, there's a bit of light. I have some sock blockers somewhere, these will do. And I'll show you the Christmas socks I have already made. Anyone want to guess whether these have got ends woven in or not? Cassie says no. Cassie's probably correct. Okie dokie. So the first ones, my usual sort of vanilla sock formula. Gosh, that's on there badly. And this is self-striping yarn that I dyed up. And it is the candy cane colourway. And I absolutely love it. It has a mini for toes and heels, and that is just a slightly speckled red. I don't think it was dyed at the same time, but it goes with it really, really well. Yeah, I love this yarn. I do actually have another skein of this yarn. I don't dye self-striping very often, and it is not balled up. It is still waiting to be untangled, so to speak. It's been waiting to be untangled for over a year. So if I get round to sorting that out, that would be another ball of yarn to swap, or maybe to go into a giveaway or something for Christmas. But yeah, I think this yarn is lovely. It does have a bit of sparkle to it. It's got a bit of stellina base to it. It is so Christmassy. Are you hating me talking about Christmas so much? It's September, get used to it. It'll be here in a couple of months. Told you, Christmas berry this year. And the other pair is... Just watch the cat while I'm putting things on sock blockers. I know that's what you're doing anyway. Oh, I'm snagging my jumper. That's not fun. Oh, I love these socks. This is what I mean though about like a box of socks just making you happy, because I haven't been in this box for a while, and now there's only 2 pairs of knit socks in here, and I'm just like, wow, I love them. So this next pair, look at it. Can you see the neon pops in there? It's incredible. This is the Gingerbread House colourway by Mothy and the Squid, and I used a contrast for the heels and toes, and this is from the Adventure Time mini set by Siobhan's Crafts, and I just think it looks... It's kind of... It shouldn't go, but it does go, and I love it. Oh, I love this. This yarn is absolutely glorious. Mothy and the Squid do amazing Christmas colourways. They are going to be at Yarndale, and it is going to be dangerous. I really need some more Mothy and the Squid Christmas colourways. I cannot wait to see them there. Yeah, I love, 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 love these socks. But yeah, so I have this left over, which would also be available for swappage, because this definitely will make another pair of socks if you do contrast heels, toes and cuffs. And I have a tiny bit of this. This is probably not a good swappage one. But yeah, if you have Christmas yarn hanging around that you do not want to knit with, and you want to swap or donate to the worthy cause of me knitting 9 pairs of socks in 2 months for Christmas, leave me a message. So the last thing that I have to show you knitting wise is another pair of gloves. Now since I knit the pair for Mum last episode, I decided that I could write these up as a pattern. They are fun, they're a great fun thing to knit, and I'm knitting them 2 at a time, and these are on Chalgoo interchangeable needles. I have the interchangeable set, and this is just the cuff. I'm doing 3 inches of cuff. I am knitting them 2 at a time, I started off knitting them separately and then put them onto the knee balls together, just because I find it's just a little bit quicker with this. I don't really ever knit socks 2 at a time, don't ask me why. I don't know why. I think I tried it once and I got a really bad bladder down one side and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. But yeah, so I have, in this instance, gone for twisted rib just because it looks so beautiful. But it's not really difficult, it's just twisting the knit stitches. We're not twisting the pearls, we're not sadists. You can see the difference if you look on the other side, because that's just a normal rib and that is your twisted rib. And this is knit again in my yarn, and this is one of my mop bucket colourways, and my mop bucket colourways are yarns that I usually keep for myself. They are what I use to use up any bits of dye that are left over. Sorry for the wobbling. There's a lot of wobbling this episode. Cassie is literally just going from the cushion to the window to the cushion to the window and to that window now. Yeah, so my mop bucket colourways are just the... When I've been doing a dyeing session, I put some of the dyes into smaller containers and mix for doing speckling and things like that, and there is usually some bits left over when it comes to the end. So what I then do is I will usually throw in a couple of skeins of yarn and just use up anything left over and just speckle it in and whirl it in, and whatever happens happens, and they are known as my mop bucket colourway because it's just like mopping up, cleaning up at the end of a dyeing session. You never know what you're gonna get, and I happen to absolutely love them, which is why I tend to keep them for myself, because it's a little treat for me. Yeah, you can just see all the specks of colour. They can go a bit muddy, but hey ho. I brought another couple up to show you because they're mine and I love them. Yeah, can you see in this one it's got a lot of purple. I know all the colours, I do. Turquoise. It's got a little turquoise and teal in this. This is lovely. This is definitely going to be a hat. There's got cable ties on it. I know how to treat my yarn. Yeah, so that's another mop bucket, and this also is a mop bucket. I just absolutely love them. There's no, I can't recreate this yarn. It's just a happy accident that, like, it's just got a pop of green in there. It's just beautiful. It's just, like I said, just mopping up all the leftover dyes, and I get my mop bucket yarns, and yeah, they're very special. I really like them. So yeah, so not much to show on that. It's just cuffs on a pair of gloves, and they're for a friend at work. She does a lot of dog walking, so I thought some gloves would be a nice present, and also it means I can work on another pair and adapt the pattern. So yeah, I will probably cast on a few more pairs of gloves myself just until I am comfortable with the maths of the pattern working out right and braiding it for different sizes, and then I might be looking for some testers for that pattern, so that might be fun. If you want to knit gloves, or the fingers, or the fingers. It's so much fun. It's fun. It's fiddly, but it's fun. It's fine, and it's so quick. So that is all of the actual knitting. Crochet is still to come, but first I wanted to talk to you about something that I've signed up for, and it does mean that the podcast will be going weekly for October. So I will be recording an episode of the podcast every week in October, hopefully going up every Wednesday. There will still only be a crochet pattern released every other week on my normal schedule, but yeah, because I have signed up to be part of the Stephen West make-along, mystery shawl make-along, sorry Cass. Yeah, Stephen West is a very popular knitting designer. He does very graphic designs, very interesting construction methods, and I have never knit any of his patterns, although I am very drawn to them. I look at them and I'm just like, wow, that's just amazing, but I couldn't knit that. I'm a good knitter, but I'm not a great knitter, and I don't know everything. I certainly don't know everything. I can't do brioche. It's scaring me. There might be brioche. What if there's brioche? So yeah, so every year Stephen West does a mystery shawl along, and it's been coming up on my Instagram feed quite a few times. I think it's called Starflake this year, and I just thought it would be a really interesting thing to try. And it was niggling at my brain, but I was just like, there might be brioche. I don't know if they can help with this brioche. Yeah, so there's gonna be, I don't know. It could be very simple, and I'm just incredibly happy with it. So I was umming and ahhing whether to do it, and then I actually went on to have a look at what the recommended yarn was, because it's a big investment if I have to buy a load of yarn for what may end up being a shawl I don't like. So I went on and had a look, and what they were recommending is 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn in a main colour, which they refer to as like a framing colour, and a contrast colour. So it's a high contrast. The thing that they told us to look at was another shawl by Stephen West, which was very much a sort of stained glass look. So this sort of dark contrast as a framing colour, and then the contrast colour within. And that sort of sold me on it slightly, because I have 2 skeins of Rhapsody yarn in the Funhouse colourway that I got in a Christmas Eve box last year. I did treat myself to 2 Christmas Eve boxes last year. I really hope Rhapsody yarn are doing Christmas Eve boxes again this year, because I really want to go again. It's so much fun. Yeah, and I got this yarn which I absolutely love. It's so bright and just an 80s funhouse, yeah. Yeah, so I got this yarn, and it's 2 skeins, which is like, oh yes, you can really do something with 2 skeins. But I didn't know what to do, because I mean, a shawl in this would be amazing, but I don't think it's particularly me just by this. But then when I saw that this Stephen West mystery cal was like 2 main colours and 2 contrast colours and stained glass framing, whatnot, it's like this as the colour in maybe I don't think I want to go black, but a dark grey as the framing colour with this, or I don't know. What about blue? What colour would you go for with this to frame this? Would you go for one of the bright colours like the red or the blue, or would you go black or grey? Let me know. I think this starts on the first Friday in October, so I need to get my yarn by then. I might pick up something as a contrast on at Yarndale, or I might dye something. I do have 2 skeins of undyed yarn in the same base as this, or a very similar base. And this is a high twist a high twist 2-ply superwash merino. Absolutely love it. But can you imagine this? It's like stained glass with black around it, or with blue around it, black or blue. So yeah. So yeah, I am going to take part in the Stephen West mystery shawl along, and I will be podcasting every week to keep you in the loop and see what's happening. And they'll probably will. Let's crack on with the crochet section. I haven't done an awful lot of crochet this week, to be fair. I haven't really. My crochet mojo is still in the doldrums. It's just not. I'm just not. I have a bit of work crochet on the go at the moment that has happened, and other than that I'm just not feeling it. It's really difficult, and it's mainly because it is work and a chore, and it seems sad that this craft that I love so much I'm just not having the urge to do, because it's pretty much all I've done for the past 6 years, and yeah, I'm just mojo is just slow. But it'll come back, it always does. I do have a couple of crochet things to show you. This is my sunset sweater that I started on the last episode. I have got through the colour work at the yoke, and then it is pretty much just grey forever. This is a pattern, I can't remember her name, I'll put it on the screen. I used this pattern as inspiration more than actually following it. I'm using a completely different stitch, and I am not going to use the pattern going forward. It's just the idea of this sunset colourwork yoke, that is what I've taken from it. I'm not saying that I'm going to then go and write my own pattern, that's not what I'm going to do, it's just going to be for me. But what I'm actually going to do, as this is a raglan, is I'm just going to use this jumper, my flax light, as a guide. So I'm going to keep increasing until I get to where I split for the sleeves in this jumper, and then yeah, it's kind of just round and round with a few decreases after that. I might put a bit more colour in on the cuffs as she had done in the pattern and on the hem, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It will now go on forever. The colourwork is Cascade. I can't remember the weight. Well, it's a DK weight, but other than that I can't remember what type of yarn it is, and I don't have a ball here. And the main colour is just a non-branded single ply held double that I got from China. So I ordered it from a discount website and I got 2 of these big cakes. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough, and it was just kind of an experiment to see if these more economical yarns were any good, and actually this is really nice. It's lovely. It's kind of got a like tweedy effect to it. It's a really nice colour. There's a lot of yarn here, so, and I got 2 of these for I think about 14 quid. Not bad. Yeah, so we'll just have to see how that goes on that. I have done a little bit on it, not a massive, but a little bit. The other crochet thing that I have to show you is this hat. This is going to be, well, the pattern for this is going to be modified, and this will be the pattern that comes out with the next episode of this podcast, which will be a week on Wednesday. This is a textured crochet stitch, and it's all knit in one piece. I'm fairly sure you start at the top and then work, and then you finish with the rib. It is knit out of a chunky single ply yarn. I think it's a drops. I will have all these details properly. And I knit this for myself. It does come with, have like a little tag with a button on, which I think is really cute. And it's got a pom-pom which has faded. It's a bit fluffy because this is mine and I have worn it, and I am going to be, as I say, reworking this pattern. It is a really cute little hat. It's not slouchy. That is one of the things I'm going to change. I'm going to make it so you have the option of making it slouchy if you want. I really like this. I think it's really cute. It is a very, very, very quick project. You could knock a few of these up in a day if you wanted. It's really chunky yarn, big thick needle, all knit in one piece, barely any sewing together. Yeah, so I've got some more of this yarn downstairs, and I'm gonna experiment in the week and get this pattern out on the next podcast. Nice practical crochet hat, really fast, really fun. So yeah. And finally, crochet projects is one that I haven't shown before, but it is my scrappy crochet granny square blanket. I haven't worked on this, but I thought I'd show it because I haven't yet. That makes sense. Yeah, this is just where I put all my little scraps of yarn that I love. I think it's fairly, all tends to go into a magic knot ball that I put together, and then it gets crocheted in. I'm just doing a granny square rather than a granny stripe blanket, which I know are quite popular. Yeah, I think mainly because I did have a lot of smaller bits to start off with, and I think if you're going to do a granny square and you're starting with a full 20 gram mini, you're going to end up with a big square in the middle, and then it's going to go out stripy and stripy and stripier. But as I had quite a lot of little scraps, I could put them all in, and yeah, these are a mixture of minis. It's bright and it's beautiful and it's lovely and it's drapey, and getting it out makes me want to work on it, and it kind of, I don't know, I get that crochet, little bit of crochet mojo just from looking at this and being like, oh, it's so pretty and so beautiful, and yeah. And also, that's running short, so I need to make another magic knot ball, so that's another little task to do. And yeah, so that is all of the crochet this week. It's not a lot. Feel free to tell me off. I should be crocheting more. I'm a crochet designer. This shouldn't be a podcast mainly about knitting. It should be more crochet. It's a, you know, there will be waves, there will be changes. There will be times there are more crochet, there will be times where there is less knitting, there will be times when there might be no crochet, there will be times when there might be no knitting. So that is everything as far as knitting and crochet is concerned. I do have a few stash acquisitions that I'm going to show you. I've signed up for a couple of mystery clubs. One is the Giddy Yarns mystery club, which comes with a cupcake recipe, and I won't be showing that one today because hopefully I will have a guest on the next episode who will be making the cupcakes, and I'll be revealing it then. And the other one that I signed up to was Game Crafting was having another clearance, and so I went for that because I was really happy with the one that I had last year. And for this one I received a mini, really lovely bright, almost orangey red and pink. It was really cute. And yeah, and I also got a full skein of yarn, and look at this, it's so lovely. And this colourway is called Where's the Rum Gone, which is a Pirates of the Caribbean reference, in case you didn't know. And this is just fantastic. The colours in this are just, ooh, lovely. Yeah, it is a 75/25 merino nylon 4-ply fingering weight yarn. It's 100 grams and it was a bargain, and thank you, Gamer Crafting. I absolutely love it. I love getting surprise yarns, because I think when I pick yarn myself I can be very samey in what I pick, and when I get mystery yarn I love it, because yeah, so I love this. It's as I say, it was on a clearance lot. You could have got up to 3 skeins for one price. I got the one and the mini, and I am very happy with that. I still think it's an excellent price even if you just get 1 skein of yarn, and this is an awesome skein of yarn. I mean, look at those colours. Yeah, so very happy with that. There's a lot of yarn piling up on this side now. Good girl, Cassie. And the other one that I signed up for was Ducky Darlings. Lovely Hayley of Ducky Darlings has started doing a mystery club, and I was doing very, very good at resisting this until she posted a picture on Instagram of her dye pots, and you couldn't see anything apart from the aluminium or stainless steel. Well, I don't know why I'm trying to guess material. Metal. She just posted a picture of her dye pots, and yeah, you just couldn't see anything. They were closed dye pots. Up until that point I had been very good at sort of like, no, I know I love Ducky Darling's yarn. I pretty much would like have anything she dyes, because the way she dyes is just, I don't know how she does it, it's just amazing. As someone who dabbles in dyeing myself, I can't do what she does. She creates sort of speckles in a way that is just so subtle, and her colours are just so, oh, love it. She knows I love her yarn. She just has to like point at things or like that, and I'll just be like, yes, please let me buy that, please, 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 yes. Yeah, so I was doing a really good job of resisting until she posted this picture, and there is something about an unopened box that I just cannot resist. And the thought of like not being part of the party that gets to open this and gets to see what this beautiful yarn is that's hiding in these pots, and it, you know, it was just a picture, and I was just like, no, I have to, I'm signing up now, I have to. So yeah, that was the photo that broke me on that one. Just a picture of pots. Sorry, Hayley, you know, you put the picture up and it was just, I was doing so well until that point. I was like, yeah, no, just calm the yarn spending, because Yarndale's coming up, and yeah, no, I failed. I fell down. I have no regrets. I have no regrets. I have the yarn. I have the mystery yarn. Do you want to see it? It's so good. Okay, I have opened this beforehand because, not that, it arrived 2 days ago. I am mainly filming early so that I can show this yarn, so that I can cast it on, because, yeah, I can't resist this. So the inspiration for her monthly clubs, I don't know if it's always going to be children's books, but this time it was. This time it was Jack and the Beanstalk, which was another reason when I saw that I was like, yep, yes please, yes, that's for me, thank you very much, yes. With it we also got some magic beans, which is fantastic. I love jelly beans and the fact that they're magic. These are my magic beans. So yes, some little sweeties, and there is a stitch marker as well, but come on, Hayley! This is gorgeous! I mean, look at it! Oh, look! This got this beautiful stitch marker, but nobody's looking at the stitch marker. Everybody's looking at how amazingly beautiful this yarn is. It says once upon a time on the stitch marker. There you go. And this colourway is called Fee Fi Fo Fum. It's just sorry, I'm just gonna make you look only at the yarn because it is so beautiful, and it is like a dusky blue green, almost seafoam green in parts, shading to sort of a peachy coral creams with speckles of light brown, gold. Oh, it actually smells really good as well. It smells really good. Just that bit, just look at that bit there, look at it. I can't do that. I don't know how she does it. Oh, and that bit. I want to cast this on so bad, but I don't know what to make with it. I love it. So yeah, I might have to get the next month. Definitely getting the next month. What am I talking about? So yeah, that is all the information you need to know. Obviously it is a one-of-a-kind colourway for the Mystery Club. So I don't assume this is available unless she dyed up extras, and then it might be available at one of her shows, the shows that she's vending at. And but yeah, I would definitely recommend signing up for this club because, I mean, come on, that bit there, that bit. Hat, shawl, socks. What do I knit? Tell me what to knit, because I want to cast this on right now. I want to cast it on right now. Yeah, I've only got 9 pairs of Christmas socks. Could this be a Christmas colourway? Could we No. Can I make it a Christmas colourway somehow so I can cast on socks in this and it be a Christmas colourway? No, it's not a Christmas colourway. Behave, Liz. Love it. So yeah, Ducky Darlings. One of my favourite dyers. Oh yeah. Hayley, this is amazing. I love it. So yeah, I think we're there. I think we've pretty much covered everything we need to talk about this. Okay, I think that might be nearly everything. Thank you for watching, if you stuck around to the end and if you've watched my previous episodes. That's also lovely. Thank you for subscribing, those of you who are subscribed. If you'd like to become one of them, you can click the little subscribe button, which will be somewhere around. I am, as I mentioned last week, in the process of setting up a giveaway which will be for our subscribers and also for anybody who uses the Yarn Waffle podcast hashtag on Instagram and shares this podcast. I have some lovely prizes, one of which also is been donated by Ducky Darlings, and it's absolutely amazing, and it's a Halloween colourway, and the first prize draw will be going out, so whoever wins that will win it and have it in their hands before Halloween. You could do a Halloween cast on. Oh, yes. So yes, so very informal. You can leave a comment. But it is just open to anybody who subscribes to the podcast and anybody who uses the hashtag Yarn Waffle Podcast on Instagram. And I will choose someone as a random winner, and I will be drawing that in a couple of weeks. And first I'm just going to get together some prizes, which I will probably show you on the next episode, because I am, as I might have mentioned, going to Yarndale this weekend, and I haven't been for a couple of years and I'm seriously excited. I'm on a slightly more limited budget than the last yarn show that I went to. I have been paying myself to clean my own house, to put in money into the yarn fund. But yes, I do save up for shows, and so it will be really nice to treat myself to some really, really lovely goodies, and also pick up some bits for the giveaway. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. I feel silly. So yes, so you can follow me on all the social medias. I'll at some point during this episode put them on screen. So yeah, subscribe, like, share, and win yarn. That's okay, isn't it? Right, I'm gonna leave it there. I will see you next week, where I will be returned from Yarndale with yarny goodies and yarny stories, and I might have started the Stephen West mystery shawl. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye!